another box in this bigger box, and open inside. There is the instruction manual. There's also 2 wrenches and 2 Allen keys. There's also a bike light. Take a look at that. These are the 4 tools that it comes with. I guess this is a Phillips head screwdriver. This is just an Allen key, and there's 2 like spanner wrenches. There's also I guess this is a rear bike light. There's 3 different modes. Comes with the charger. Comes with a rear fender. So back here, you can't really see it, but there's a nut and bolt. You'll loosen that and put that in place, tighten it. It also comes with pedals. Let's get this bike assembled. Right here, I think this just falls into place, and then pull it towards you to lock it. There's also this locking mechanism that you push in. That way this lever doesn't accidentally come down and the handlebar will collapse while you're riding. For the seat, I already pulled this earlier, but pull this, put the seat in, and then you can twist this clockwise to tighten it, and then once you have your desired height, you can lock that into place. So that's pretty good. We got the 2 pedals, and these are direction specific. This is right, this is left. So on the right side, you would do lefty loosey, righty tighty, but on the left side, it's the opposite. It would be righty loosey, lefty tighty. So let's put that in. Can use the tools that we got to finish tightening it. So that's good. Just flip this around. Forgot to take this off. And for this side, turn it left to tighten. Use our tool again to finish tightening this. So that is good. Oh, there's a kickstand. That would have helped earlier. Moving down here, we have this bolt and nut assembly. Just loosen this. So we have 2 washers. I'm assuming that we'll keep one on, feed it through the fender, put the other one on, feed this back through the frame. Put the nut back on. See if this holds this in place. And it does. Back up. Cool. Let's put this light on, and the way this works is this just feeds through. It's like an S shape. It goes in like that. I almost think it'd be easier to put this into place first. That way, when you're on the outside, you can feed it through the outside. There we go. Rotate this around. Perfect. Notice that there was a set of front reflectors that was loose in the box. That probably goes on the front. And the Allen keys provided are not small enough, so I'll deal with this later. There's also a front light. Figure out how to turn that on in a second. Moving on to the top, we have this notice that says, "Hold on, do not return this item to the store. We'll take care of it for you." So you can call this number if you have any issues. I'll take that off. There's a lever here. I'm gonna sit on the bike and figure out what's most comfortable. So this is pretty comfortable. I'm gonna lock it into position here. We have a bell that's loose. We'll take our Phillips head screwdriver that came with the bike. Let's figure out what's comfortable close to the grips. So I think this is good. And then tighten that. That's good. Also tighten this front reflector. Not sure why it's here. It's usually here, but doesn't matter. It is where it is. Tighten that. That's good. And then I'm not going to go over how to adjust the brakes, but there's these fine-tune adjustments for the brakes. You can also adjust the rear brakes on the bottom. You can look up videos on how to do that. I would highly recommend adjusting the rear brakes and looking over everything that's loose or able to be tightened and make sure that it's tight. We have a charging port down here. I have the charger plugged into an outlet and just put that in there. Looking at the bike, I do not see any LED status indicator showing that it's charging. When you plug in the power brick, it turns green, and then when you plug this plug into the bike, it turns red. So there's no status indicator on the bike that says it's charging, but once this turns red, then you know it's charging. I'm just going to leave this charging for a couple hours, and I'll come back to make sure that's green. I didn't read the instructions, but usually you have to charge the bike for like 1 to 4 hours. So I'll just leave that charging and then come back to it later. Alright guys, here is the instruction manual. I just read it after I did all of this, but it's probably helpful to read this before we begin. Here is the table of contents. Here is what's included inside the box. You can pause this video at any time if you want to look at this in more detail. Here's the specs. You can find this online as well. And then here's the assembly. I did not read this, but you can always follow these steps. I found this to be pretty helpful. It's like they have good instructions. I should have read this earlier. But here's the charging battery. It says to plug this in for up to 4 hours, and there's the charging indicator. Red means the battery's charging, green means the charging is complete. This is how to unfold the bike, the handlebar, and how to operate it. So there's the bell, here's the power button, here's the battery indicator, and here's a twist throttle. We also have the cruise control and headlight button. There's the battery levels. So for the cruise control and headlight button, press once to activate the cruise control, and then hold the button for 4 seconds to turn on the light. And then how to ride it, you can use the twist throttle. Doesn't mention anything about the pedals and care and maintenance. Let's go over the functionality of the bike and the different parts. Starting from the top, we have the handlebar, we have the grips, we have the brake levers for the front and rear. There's also, I believe it's a sensor to tell the motor to shut off when you're braking, so it doesn't provide any pedal assist. There is a bell. Right there we have like a lever to adjust the angle of the handlebar. Go over to the other side. We have this power button that turns the power onto the motor and the pedal assist. It tells the battery level once you turn the power on. Underneath it we have a button. If you press and hold it, I believe for 4 to 5 seconds, the light will turn on. Moving down, we have the lever that folds the handlebar. Coming down here, we have a 14-inch rim. It says the tire is a 14 by 2.125 inch tire. We also have disc brakes in the front. These are just the standard linear pull disc brakes, and it says the rotor is 160 millimeters. Coming down over here, we have the battery. It's nice that there's a handle so you can carry the bike with you. Right here we have the crank set. I'll go over to the other side and show you that, or flip the bike around. Here we have the seat, and what I like about this seat is that it has the springs, so it absorbs some of the shock when you're riding. We have the rear reflector. In addition to the rear reflector, we have the rear LED light. Back here we have a rear disc similar to the front. I think that's 160 as well. And then we have a kickstand. Right here we have a rear fender to protect water and mud from splashing to your back. And on the other side we have the chain. I'll tell you how many teeth it is after I finish counting it. The front cassette. In the back we also have a 350 watt rear hub. I'm gonna get some audio of the rear hub. For this set, we're going to test the max speed of the e-bike just with the throttle. So here we go. You can see the speedometer right there. And on the downhill, we got 14 miles an hour. This is relatively flat. I would say that the max speed was around 13, and that last downhill, we got another 1 mile an hour, so that was 14 miles an hour. In this set, we're going to do the pedal assist only without throttle, and let's see what our max speed will be. We're already getting 16. Slow down for the dog and the bump. All right, let's resume. Yeah, I was getting about 16. That was taking a bit of effort. Let's see what we get if I just pedal normally. I'm just pedaling normally right now. There's not much effort to use the pedal assist. Let's find another straight and just pedal normally. If I pedal normally, getting 13 miles an hour. It's about the same as with the throttle, but I'm getting some exercise right now too. In this set, we're going to use the pedal assist and the throttle and see if it goes any faster. Okay, here we go. So definitely picked up a lot faster. Getting 14 miles an hour, that's 1 mile per hour quicker. And I'm gonna say the top speed will be at 14 miles an hour. So I'm just pedaling pretty easily right now. Still getting 14 on the flat. We got that bump again. I'm gonna slow down. Hand holding the mic so I don't want to flip over. Alright, with the throttle, getting 12. 13. Yeah, I want to say it's a 13, 14 mile per hour. So using the pedal assist and the throttle, your acceleration is a lot quicker. You're able to speed up or get to that. Well, it feels like, I can check the video later, but as someone riding it, I feel like it was quicker to get to a higher speed, but then the max speed stayed the same. So I'm just gonna, I don't know if it really makes much of a difference if just using the throttle and pedaling, unless you want to save like a fraction of a second getting to the higher speed. But I think normally, if you just want to go, use the throttle. If you want to save battery and get some exercise, use the pedals or pedal assist. One thing I also want to note is that the front wheel and just how the steering is set up, it's very, like, the angle is very weird. So these turns, I feel like, see me wobbling the handlebar right now, it feels very unstable. I don't know if I want to go any faster than 14 miles an hour. Well, I actually do. I want to go like 20, 25 miles an hour, but it probably will feel less stable. And if you do like a sudden turn or something comes in your way, you might lose your balance and fall off. I don't know if you guys can see my shadow, but I'll try it again when the shadow's in a different position. But you can see how small this bike actually is. One thing I want to say is that the front chain ring is pretty small. I'll count the teeth and tell you what it is later, but it's like very easy to pedal, almost to the point where I want a larger chain ring in the front so I can go faster than 13 miles an hour. For this test, we are going to test the brakes. I'm just going to get to around 13 miles an hour, and then once I hit that light pole, I'm going to hit the brakes and see how far I stop. I'm going to test the front, rear, and both. So here we go. And that one, our rear tire did skid, so I'll try that again and try not to get the tire to skid, because when the tire does skid, we actually go further than we would like. But it's nice to know that these brakes are strong enough where the rear wheel can lock up. All right, let's do it again. Let's say it stopped around the same spot. All right, this one is with the front brake. As expected, the front brake did stop a lot faster. Front brakes typically provide 70% of the stopping power, and the rear brake provides like the other 30%. So let's do this again with both brakes. In this set, we're going to use both brakes, and my assumption is that it's going to stop a lot faster, obviously, but we'll see that on the camera. All right, and that one, I think the rear wheel lifted up a little bit. We can try that again and see if we can control that. We're gonna do the same thing again and try not to get the rear wheel up. That one was more controlled. Let's go with that one. For the final review, instead of just standing here looking at the bike, I'm gonna pedal around so you can get a sense of kind of how it rides. So overall, I really like this bike. I like how it's very portable and the build quality seems pretty good compared to the cheap 398 e-bike that I got, the Hyper e-bike that I got from Walmart from my wife. The build quality seems a lot better. I liked how it came with that rear LED light. I feel like that was a nice bonus, and the pedals feel a lot more solid. For the motor itself, it's a 350 watt motor, and you know, for the most part it feels pretty zippy like when you're starting, but I also feel like I would like more power. I maxed out just pedaling normally around 14 miles an hour, averages 16 miles an hour. I'm sure that's achievable if I was going downhill, but for a flat and going uphill, wasn't able to really get more than 14 just on the throttle or pedal assist. When I was pedaling pretty hard, I got 16 miles an hour, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having a pedal assist bike. I also like how it came with a bell. That's a nice touch. I like that the front handlebar is adjustable, so you know, sometimes some people are taller and your arms, you know, like has a further reach, so by being able to adjust this, you're able to have like a more ergonomic reach. One thing I don't like, I'm just kind of looking at the bike and going down the list, is the steering. I kind of showed you guys before, but if you're just fast forwarding to this part, like I'm purposely moving the handlebar around, and just based on the steering angle, I feel like it's very unstable. So going at higher speeds, if you had to make a sudden stop or a sudden turn to avoid a car, you might lose balance and fall over. But most of the time you'd probably be using two hands. Right now I'm holding the mic up towards my mouth so I can have clearer audio. I seem to have misplaced my lav mic windscreen foam piece, and that's why I'm doing this with the Zoom H1 and just holding it to my mouth. That's one thing I didn't like. The steering. I feel like if they brought this handlebar back a few angles, like maybe 10 degrees, it'd feel a lot more stable. I guess it's not really a complaint, but the wheel size is 14 inches. That makes it very portable, but when I'm riding with my wife, who has it's like the 700C wheels, like the road bike wheels, I feel like I have to pedal 3 to 4 times more just to keep up with her, but it's okay. It's good exercise. I like that there are disc brakes on the front and rear. I did like a stopping kind of visual, and with the rear wheel, I think I stopped at 12 feet, going my max speed of 13 miles an hour, and then with the front brake, I got like 5 or 6 feet stopping distance, and then combined, it was pretty much the same, maybe like a foot shorter, but it's kind of hard to say. So I would trust these brakes. They seem pretty solid because, you know, the rear wheel locked up, and it just feels very smooth and kind of good to grab, like not grabby, but they just feel very solidly built. Going down, looking at the battery, I haven't tested the battery life. It's advertised to have a range of 15 miles. I haven't tested that. I'm just trying to get this review out there. Maybe I'll provide a comment or just a notification in the comment or an update in the comment when I do test this range to tell you guys how far it actually went. I like that the frame has like a place to put your hand so you can carry the bike from the middle. I feel like it is pretty heavy. Well, it's heavier than, let's say, a scooter. Scooters are like 27 pounds. This one is 34, 35. I guess it's not too bad. But there is some weight to it. And when I did put it inside my car, it fit in my Prius. It'll probably fit in most cars that have adequate space. But it is not as small as, let's say, a Segway or a Xiaomi scooter, or just a scooter in general. The pedals have good quality. I'm looking at the cranks right now. The crank arms feels pretty smooth. One thing I would change is probably the front cassette, just to get more teeth in the front, because biking is pretty easy right now. I feel like I don't have to work that hard, and the drawback is that I can't go very fast. So if I change the chain ring or the crankset on the front, I could go a lot faster. I don't think I can change the cogs in the back to make it any smaller, so I have to increase the one in the front. Rear brakes are good. The seat, talk about the seat. The seat, I like that there are springs, so it kind of dampens the bumps. Let these guys pass. Alright, the rear seat, I like how there is that spring, so it takes the shock from bumps such as these. Cool. I didn't really feel much. One thing I didn't like is that the seat post, even though it's pretty long, I feel like it's not that long. I'm 5'10", and I feel like when I pedal, my legs still feel kind of cramped, so it might have been nice to have another inch or two to get elevated, so I can get that full extension of my like foot rotation or leg rotation, so it won't be as hard to pedal, or I won't use as much energy pedaling. But yeah, I mean, for the price, going back, looking down at the kickstand. The kickstand is a nice touch. I believe it is adjustable, so you can make some adjustments there. The rear hub, it does provide power. It got 13 miles per hour max, and it seems pretty zippy. I don't really have any complaints there. I just would like the higher speed to be faster. So overall, for $300 from Costco, I feel like that's a pretty good steal. I think typically it's like $450, but Costco has been having this on sale consistently for $300, and yeah, I think they've been selling out too, so a lot of people have been buying them once they've been out. So I think for $300, it's totally worth it if you need a bike and also like an electric commuter. There's a Chinese brand, DYU, I believe. There's like the D1, D2, and D3. I think this is the D3, so if there's mods for that, I think a lot of them can be transferred over to this bike. Haven't really looked too much into it, but I think you can do some modifications, maybe unlock the high speed and some other modifications, maybe like upgrading the brakes, upgrading the front wheels. I saw a video of a guy who put dual hubs, motors. He put one in the front and one in the rear, and that seemed pretty cool because he was going a lot faster. Not sure how he hooked it up to one battery, but that was possible. And yeah, so that's pretty much for this review. If you guys have any comments, put it in the comment section below. If you have this bike, let me know. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you want it. Let me know if you have any questions regarding this bike, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you guys have. And yeah, feel free to look through the comments, because some of those questions may have already been answered. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please feel free to subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful, and see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.